Would like to call to order the regularly scheduled Village Council meeting for the Village of Beverly Hills for Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. Ms. Brown, would you please call the roll?
Mr. O'Gorman, Mr. Abood, Mr. Drummond,
Here.
Mr. George,
Here.
Ms. Rajusco,
Here.
Ms. Kescometti,
Here.
Mr. Mercer.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, with that, would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Are there any amendments to the agenda or a motion to approve the agenda?
Mr. George, at this time, I'd like to move that we excuse Mr. Abood. He had a family emergency for his absence tonight, so I'd like to move that he be excused.
Support.
Support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
And with that, I'd like to make a resolution, or I'd like to move that we approve the agenda as published.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we have an agenda. I think that's the speaker. That's the,
Yeah,
get the base from. New speaker, okay. All right, any community announcements this evening, online or in chamber? Hearing none, we will move on from community announcements to public comments. Anyone or online or in chamber who would like to make a public comment, please step to the podium, give us your name and your street.
Good evening. My name is Tara Trito. I am homeowner of 22596 King Richard Court, and I'm here both as a concerned neighbor and a soon-to-be mother. I am 8 months pregnant, and tonight I am speaking up because the current state of our neighborhood roads is simply unsafe for me, my family, and many others. We received approximately 4 inches of snow this past weekend, and still as of today, my street was not plowed or salted. As you know, our neighborhood does not have sidewalks. That means that the basic needs like walking my dog, getting exercise, or simply moving around, the streets are our only option. When the roads are not plowed, salted, or properly maintained in winter, they become hazardous, turning simple trips outside into risky undertakings. I'm at the stage in my pregnancy where slips and falls can be catastrophic, not only for me, but for my baby. Yet, despite the dangerous conditions, I have no alternative but to use these icy, untreated roads to walk my dog and get necessary outdoor time. I worry about falling or getting hurt, and I know I'm not alone. Our elderly neighbors and families with small children are facing the same frightening challenges. We need our roads to be cleared and treated with salt so we can safely go about our daily lives. It's not just about convenience, it's about our safety and our health. I urge you to consider more effective, timely measures for plowing and salting our streets, especially in neighborhoods like mine where sidewalks aren't available. Thank you for your time and service, and I sincerely hope that you will act quickly to address this urgent safety concern for everyone in our community, including those of us carrying the newest members. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. We will have a conversation about that. I know administration and Public Works are both here this evening, so they heard that. We are at the very beginning of a transition in service on the Public Works. This has been outsourced since the 1960s, and we are in about month 1 of bringing it in-house and are working through the equipment issues, which is not an excuse. It is some context around the conversation. So I am quite sure that since the manager is here and the Public Works Director is here, they understand the need to make sure that we're getting that done. And if there are rules that I'm unaware of around the volume that is necessary for that to be triggered, we'll certainly publicize that so people understand.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Anyone else?
Good evening, Pete Webster. I live on Balmoral Street. I wanted to come and talk about 2 things, just briefly, a public comment. First and foremost, I wanted to acknowledge and thank Mr. Ryan as being the village attorney, very esteemed lawyer, as you all know. Everyone in the village is very fortunate to have Tom's advice and counsel over the years, and it's a bit of a milestone, I think. And there's a change that's going on, and I just wanted to pause and recognize the importance of his advice and his role and the role as village attorney. So thank you very much, Mr. Ryan. Appreciate that. Relatedly, I wanted to also thank the village council for its in-depth review and questioning of the new village attorneys. And I think you've had a terrific choice, Mr. Jopik and his firm, and Ms. Kolb, who's here, just it will be a terrific fit, I believe so. Thank you for your time and effort in that regard. Secondly, also on your agenda tonight, you have the calming traffic feature, which is on the agenda. And so I wanted to also thank and applaud that effort to obtain the grant funds to make that, to contribute to that. I think it's a terrific thing. I think the village should continue on that path and requesting those funds and speaking out to get our share of the county's funds in that regard. And that Mr. Shepler and Leah Michaels, who you've selected, I think, or will be considering the selection, I think they're gonna do a terrific job. So on those two important things, on a positive note, those are two things I think very much appreciate the time and effort and the good thoughts that went into those two things. And again, thank you to Mr. Ryan. It's going to be a bittersweet, I think. And thank you. And thank you to Ms. Cole. See you. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? All right. If no other, we will move on from public comments to the consent agenda. There are 5 items on the consent agenda this evening. Number 1, approval of November 18th, 2025 council meeting minutes. Number 2, review and file bills recapped as of Monday, December 1st, 2025. Number 3, approve text MyGov quote. Number 4, review and consider request to host Groves Orchestra's Forte 5K on Sunday, May 3rd, 2026 at the Beverly Park. I believe that, okay. And number 5, review and consider the request to waive the pavilion rental fee for the annual 5th grade run at Beverly Park.
Mr. George, at this time, be it resolved that the Village Council of the Village of Beverly Hills approve the consent agenda as read.
Support.
Support from Ms. Kescometti. Ms. Brown, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Drummond,
Yes.
Mr. George,
Yes.
Ms. Rajewsko,
Yes.
Ms. Kescometti,
Yes.
Mr. Mercer,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right, thank you. On to the business agenda. Also, I'm going to have it be known before we move on, the text MyGov. I don't know if you want to give a 15-second explanation of what that is or not, or you want to?
I can do it now or manager report.
Okay, save it for manager report, but I'm excited about that, so thank you for that. Business agenda, 3 items on the business agenda. Number 1, approve purchase of a 2007 International plow truck. Mr. Rothy.
Yes, before you this evening is a purchase request from the Public Service Director to purchase a used plow truck to serve in our fleet needs. We're currently renting as we await the final build out and delivery of our permanent plow trucks. We're currently renting through the Enterprise Fleet Leasing Program through Herc Rentals 2 F750 trucks. The monthly rent for these trucks is currently $11,246. We'd like to get out of that, and having identified what we believe is a appropriate workhorse for us to have. The truck's got about 99,000 miles on the diesel engine. It's a swap loader, which is pretty cool. I can have Director Johnston say more about what that means. And without further ado, I'll turn it over for him to fill in the gaps and answer any questions you may have.
Try to keep it short for you guys. Yeah, like Warren said, we entered into the agreement with Enterprise, as you guys all know. The build time on our bigger trucks that can handle the salting and the plowing and hauling and all those things is a 16 to 18 month build time. So Enterprise hunted around for some trucks that would try to keep up with our needs. They're not really keeping up with our needs, and they're rather expensive for what they are. So we decided to look around and see what we could find. And we found this truck that's in really good shape, and I think it would be a good addition to the fleet for the time being.
So it looks like this would cost about 4 months worth of rental. And so if we kept it for the winter and sold it for anything, we're money ahead.
Yeah.
If we keep it for 2 years, we're doing great.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of savings going this route instead of what we're currently.
All right. Questions?
It seems like it makes perfect sense.
Does the trailer come with it?
Trailer does not.
Thought that was quite a deal.
2 dump bodies, a salt body, front plow, belly plow, wing plow.
Okay.
And the swap loader components will fit on
That's
our
a pretty
upcoming swap loader trucks, right?
That's correct, yep, same
Oh,
outfit.
nice. Okay.
Mr. Treasurer.
Yes.
Mr. Jensen, can you just remind me, did we order 1 plow or 2?
We're having 2 built.
We're having 2 built. So we'll have this one, and then do we have one from the previous fleet and we're renting one, or are we gonna keep one rental? Like,
Nope,
what's the-
we're gonna turn them both in. We purchased another one.
Okay,
It was under
From-
5,000.
okay. You got a plow
Wow.
for under $5,000?
Farmington, city of Farmington, heard our needs and offered up something that they had just hanging around.
Laying around in the back.
It's
That's awesome.
also in really good shape. It's a 2000 that
Maintained well.
they've maintained well and just don't need in their fleet anymore. So they were willing to let it go.
Awesome.
So we'll have 2 for the winter.
Yeah.
We'll get the 2 new ones presumably by next winter. If not, we have these. Okay,
Super.
thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I'd take a resolution.
Sure, I can make one, Mr. George. Be it resolved, the Village of Beverly Hills Council approves the purchase of a 2007 International plow truck from Roland Enterprises LLC for $48,000, subject to final verification by the Public Services Director and Village Attorney. Funds are available in account number 101-900-977.41.
Support.
Support for Mrs. Rajewsko. Ms. Brown, would you please call the roll?
Mr. George?
Yes.
Ms. Rajewsko?
Yes.
Ms. Cascometti?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. Drummond?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, thank you.
Working on breaking records.
Yep. On to number 2, award proposal for Beverly and Southfield Road Traffic Calming Study. Mr. Rodney.
Yes, before you this evening is a requested RFP award for the Beverly and Southfield Road Traffic Calming Study. Council received the grant from Oakland County to cover the vast majority of this work. At the time, the council, I believe it was about a year ago, wanted us to do the RFP route for this, so we did the RFP route, received 4 RFP responses, the low bid, and there was a typo in the bid tab, which we distributed to council just before the meeting. We can update the website one tomorrow morning. Low bid was Hubble, Roth and Clark in the amount of $35,457.84. Again, our portion of that is $7,500. You'll see the proposal is quite lengthy. It talks about the scope of work, what they're going to do, timeline, what the fee breakdown is. It's again pretty substantial. I think it's pretty comprehensive, and it'll meet our needs. And I'll turn it over to Director Steck to add further commentary or answer any questions you may have.
All right. Good evening. I think Manager Rothy pretty well summed it up. Like you said, HRC and Spalding Decker were the 2 low bids. Both were very well done, well put together. And I think either one would be really fantastic for our needs and what we're looking for. In my opinion, the fact that HRC has had such longevity and, they've got the topographic information as well as data that they've gathered from other projects. Those are 2 components that Spalding Decker just doesn't have and would cost extra for. So, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have about that.
So first thing to probably address is the fact that our bid tab page had an error in it.
Yes.
Right. So we made a correction, now we corrected the correction.
Yes.
Okay. So the 37.5 was incorrectly totaled, and it should have been 37,457.84, but we represented that as 35,457.84. So the correct number is 37,457.84.
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Gorman, what questions does anyone have? The HRC proposal and work plan is included in, and all of their qualifications, lots of supporting material. But the work plan, I think, is the kind of important part that's included. So gives the list of steps and the timing of all those. So anyone have questions, anything they need clarified on this? So this, to be clear, this is funded largely by Oakland County?
The Oakland County Access to Transit Grant Program. So this is a new grant program for Oakland County. It is derived from the transportation millage. And so I expect that this will be a revolving or a continuing grant, at least into the foreseeable future. And I would anticipate that with the completion of this this traffic calming study, that will put us in a good position to actually apply for the next round of funds next fall. To continue on with the preliminary, with the design engineering and, potentially even implementation the year after, so.
And one thing that I think is worth mentioning is the fact that Southfield Road is an Oakland County Road Commission road.
Correct.
So we have limited ability to make changes to it without their buy-in.
That is correct. And we've had conversations with them there. They did provide us a letter of support in our initial application. So they are well aware that we are, that we sought those funds, that we were awarded those funds. And we are trying to time this out with their plans for Southfield Road and resurfacing them. So I believe that's in 2029.
Yeah.
Is when they've got planned work, so.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was
Fiscal
20,
year 29? Their fiscal year, okay,
yeah.
yeah.
which could be 28. fall of
20, yeah,
20,
end of
yeah.
28,
So
they're October.
that's what I had remembered was or summer of 28. So either way, 28, 29. We unilaterally can't just
No.
say we want to narrow the road, make changes to it without their buy-in. And the fact that Oakland County is paying for the majority of approximately 80% of this. And so that keeps our cost for this down. This is something we had talked about previously, but didn't have this is a much more in-depth study. So I like that it has them preparing recommendations and taking community input. So this is a year's worth of work. Questions, comments? Yes, sir.
So I have a question regarding the bid. Just want to make sure I understand this. I guess I don't understand why the bid amount was 37.5. We wrote this, and then we wrote a lower amount for Hubble, Roth, and Clark. I'm okay with it. It was a typo of instead of 35,000, which was in there, it's 37. Why wasn't it just put in the package of 37,457? Why wasn't that amount? I'm not following this.
Oh, there was a rounding error that was discovered upon re-review, like more in-depth
Okay.
analysis of the bids. So, as I went back through and re-added everything up just to confirm and then I transposed some numbers.
Was 37,500 at some point made public then?
That was the amount that was in their proposal was 37.5, and I went back through after the bid opening, and I re-added up everything just.
So you added their
Their total
their-
Yeah,
just
their
rounded
total.
was
was
basically
added correct.
rounded up.
Incorrect.
for the
Yes.
most
Correct.
part.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a
But-
rounding error.
Okay.
But then we messed up our
Yeah.
Right.
Trans-
Correction of their error.
Yes,
My
that's-
correction
yes.
was incorrect.
In-
Yep.
If you look at the component costs on page 65 of the packet, and you just add the change, you can see that it comes out to 84, so they rounded, which,
Yeah,
interesting.
which I get it. I understand that.
Yeah.
The way it's represented, it just looks odd that we do a lot of work with HRC. I don't have a problem with HRC. I think they've done good work with us. But then when you bring this in, it makes it look like, oh, yeah, and there was just happens to be an error that's just slightly below really the low bidder.
No, I
And
understand.
that makes it look odd. I just want to make
Agreed.
sure we have everything to back this up, that they were indeed a low bidder, which is what I see in the, in that. So reason we put the 37.5 is because that's really what they bid. And we went and added it up and it was really less than
Correct.
that, and it was less than the low bid. So they became the new low bidder. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Yep.
And that's common practice when we do big construction projects. Oftentimes, we'll have to correct the bidder's arithmetic. So,
This is
Well, we're not asking them to be our accountant, so okay.
Right.
Mr. George, could I
Yes.
just to follow up on that? I had a similar initial impression as Mr. Mercer. Can you just double check for me, Ms. Tech? Did we check everyone else's math?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had the same question. I walked in the door and said, that's what you're gonna have to explain. And if at the end of the day, the answer was someone said, I'd rather go with Spalding, Dedeker. You know, I think there are efficiencies with the people who do the work for us on a daily basis, but I'm also, it's not a hill I'm gonna die on. I think it's weird their math doesn't round, or that it does round. And if Brad was here, hi Brad, if you're gonna watch us later.
That's all right. I keep them.
Have your Excel. I guess that's, the problem is it's a spreadsheet in PowerPoint, not Excel.
So, Mr. George, if I may, now maybe a substantive question on the project. So I just want to make sure I understand. So we talk about the this is a study of the intersection,
Correct.
but then we do say that we can consider options like road narrowing or changing the geometry. Do you have any sense of the scope of how far beyond the intersection they're going to look?
That was one of the questions that was posed, like, pre-submission. So we generally said approximately 500 feet in each direction for their, to help narrow that focus. But also left them, bless you, with enough discretion to say if you've got, if what you ultimately end up proposing or what comes out of the public engagement extends beyond that, then by all means, present that to us. But 500 feet in each direction was the broad parameter.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Other questions? None? So this, the course of events, because the resolution doesn't list an account, so I assume we're good knowing that if that has to happen, that'll come back later. It just lists our match.
yeah, it's just a in the street fund
Okay,
that we're gonna expense this from.
all right. Any other questions? Resolution's at the top of 36, if anyone happens to be close to it and wants to provide a resolution.
I've got Mr. George.
Sure.
Excuse me. Be it resolved, the Beverly Hills Village Council accepts the proposal for the Southfield and Beverly Roads traffic calming intersection study as submitted by Hubble, Roth, and Clark.
Support.
Support for Mr. Drummond. Ms. Brown, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Kescometti,
Yes.
Mr. Mercer,
Yes?
Mr. O'Gorman,
Yes.
Mr. Drummond,
Yes.
Mr. George,
Yes.
Ms. Rajusco.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Good work. I was trying to draw out my ass.
Sorry.
All right, thank you.
Hopefully the mic picked it up.
It did. All right, number 3 on the business agenda, consider of appeal of Luke Wolgast regarding estimated FOIA fee. Mr. Rothy.
Yes, Luke Wolgast submitted the Freedom of Information request on November 13th, 2025. It was deemed received as of November 14th, 2025 in accordance with the FOIA Act. The request was acknowledged and an estimated fee was calculated upon receipt of the fee estimate. Mr. Wolgast submitted an appeal concerning the estimated fee. Under the village's current FOIA policy, the village council is the body that hears the appeal and makes a determination.
Okay. So the question then is just, the request is for the discount or waiver of the fee and whether we want to do that. This is the appeal that is allowed by law, right?
Correct.
Any additional, I don't know if there's any additional commentary or context you want to put around it. If
I
not,
may,
yeah, please do.
Mr. Wolgast also includes an allegation that response was not timely.
Mr. Wolgast's appeal includes a complaint. It's on. That the appeal, or that the notice of the cost estimate was not timely received by him. But he acknowledges that it was time stamped on the day it was due. His claim seems to be that since he didn't see it until the next morning, that renders it untimely under the statute. So really, there's two things he's appealing that I would request council address.
And so on the matter of the timeliness of the appeal, if the response has to be made by that date, so even if we mailed something that date and it wasn't received until the United States Postal Service delivered it a day or two later.
If it was, stamped by the Postal Service on the date it was due, a court, considering a challenge to that, would find that response was timely made.
And again, that would be something that would show up the next day or the day after, or however long postal mail takes. Okay. Does anyone have questions on the timeliness question?
I do not.
Anyone? You can take that as a no. All right. Second issue is whether we want to provide any relief on the cost of the FOIA material, the requested FOIA materials. Which, am I correct in saying this is just discretion of council?
Correct.
Okay.
But I would remind council that the final total cost of the FOIA has not been calculated yet. All we have at this point is an estimated labor charge.
Right, okay. Yes.
I don't know if you were going to ask for administration to provide more background, or if we're just going to go to questions.
I don't know if I felt like they provided the background they wanted to. I'm happy
Okay.
to
All right,
ask
I
for
didn't
it.
want to short circuit.
No,
I think
no.
I just want to make sure I understand, Mr. Rothy or Ms. Kolb, either one. The nature of the challenge, is it that the estimate was not calculated properly? And so the challenge is on the basis by which we provide our estimate, or is it for another reason? So if I'm reading through this, it seems to question the labor rate, and that we failed to itemize, what this estimate was. So my conclusion looking at this is that, we calculated an amount of time that it would take a person to search for these records, and we don't have an estimate on page count because we haven't searched for the records yet, and so we don't have an estimate on copies and that sort of thing. Is that right? And then could you also confirm whether or not the labor rate of $34.66 is appropriate for the lowest paid employee capable of performing the task?
So the records that Mr. Wolgast requested are related to code enforcement actions. So the appropriate person to search the records for those records, to search everything for those specific records, would be the code enforcement officer, who, knows the codes and understands and can match up ordinance sections with the violations that Mr. Wolgast is seeking.
Okay. And then lastly, Mr. George, I've not sat through one of these FOIA appeals before. Would it be appropriate to hear from our resident that's challenging? I assume maybe
No
he's in the
problem if you'd like
audience.
to.
I have a short statement.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Just give us your name and your street so we.
Luke Brown Walgast, 13 Mile Road. Thank you, Mr. President and council members. I'm here solely to address my FOIA fee violation or FOIA fee waiver request. Michigan FOIA statute, specifically MCL 15.234, makes clear that fees must not impede access and that a waiver is appropriate when disclosure serves the public interest. The records I have requested relate to the functioning of village processes. This is not a personal inquiry, it is a matter of public oversight. Every resident benefits when operations of local government are transparent, consistent, and accountable.
Excessive fees can effectively obstruct the transparency by turning access into a financial barrier. FOIA was designed to prevent exactly that. Given the procedural irregularities already associated with this request, ensuring unobstructed access is especially important. So I'm respectfully asking council to grant the waiver and allow records to be released without unnecessary cost or delay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask a question of administration. How many FOIA requests per year do we receive? Or anyone
Month.
happens to know? It's a few, handful, 2 dozen,
Probably
Say-
get about 5 or 6 of them.
5 or 6 a month. So over the course of 12 months, we're talking 30,
60.
60. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. 5, yeah, 60. So we get a lot of requests. And I would think if we have a problem with responding to that, we would have heard from a lot of people by now that we're not really following the process. I don't think that's really happening from what I'm seeing. I know we've had requests about the cost in the past, but I don't, and it seems like to me that I'm perplexed on why we think why there's a thought that it wasn't in a timely manner. We don't have this problem on a continuing basis, and this one looks like it was in compliance. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what my
That's my read of it as well.
Per the clerk and the attorney, yes. So I understand the questioning. If you're a requester and you're not, you've got an N of 1 versus 60 or 72 a year. If the statute standard is that it's replied to by a certain date and we've replied by that date, then I feel like we're compliant from a timeliness standpoint.
But just so I understand, Mr. George, the request for, the specific question before us tonight is waiving the fee.
Let's-
And that's,
It's two issues. It's the first is whether we replied timely or not, which our attorney and clerk are advising us based on the statute we have.
right, but I guess my question, is something being asked of us in that regard, on that allegation? Because the waiver's not being asked for because it was allegedly untimely.
Right.
Right, the waiver's being asked for because of questions and how it was calculated and whatnot. So I just need that clarification. Is something being asked of us on the compliance piece?
To the best of my understanding, no.
Okay.
Especially if we collectively are of the opinion that our clerk and attorney are guiding us correctly, that the statute requires that it be responded to by that date, and we did respond by that date. Again, it would have showed up later if we'd mailed it that day.
No, I understand.
yeah.
And just if I can, just clarify,
Mhm.
our obligation is to provide an estimate by the date, not to produce the records.
Correct.
Right, okay.
And if I may as well, President George,
Mhm.
Mr. Wolgast's November 21st email, which is the one he sent that indicates it's a FOIA appeal. His second paragraph is, the response did not appear in my inbox until the morning after it was due, even though he acknowledges that it was time-stamped the day before, which by statute would have been the response deadline for the cost estimate. So from my perspective, my recommendation is the council address that issue in order to sort of close that out, rather than leaving it an open issue if Mr. Wolgast decides to take it further.
All right. Questions, comments from council on the issue of fee waiver?
have a question.
Yes.
In the administration, when we do these 60 FOIA requests per year, we estimate them, do we keep track of how good our estimates are to actuals? Do they come in pretty much close? Like, on this one, it looked to be like $70, right? What we estimated? 69.28, is that correct? Am I figuring that correct?
Yes.
2 hours of staff time.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the time to look for, there might be some other cost, but do we pay attention to if we're close? I'm just wondering if this were to be produced, I'm guessing we're still gonna work on it, right? If we get agreement, right? We could work
Yes.
on it.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering how far off we are, but if we don't know, if we don't check that, that's fine. It's just an estimate.
Whenever we do have, say, estimate a fee, typically people do not pay, and the issue just dies.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes we'll get a FOIA request if it's like for a few emails or if it's for a certain document that's like, all right, look, this takes five minutes of time to do. We don't even go through the whole charging process, but with just the complexity of this one and the length and the going back through multiple years worth of records, we did go through the FOIA fee estimation process and we did deliver that. So. And we did not include fringe benefits in this calculation. That's something we're allowed to do under FOIA. So we were already, we thought that this was a fair estimation. And again, it's important that it is an estimation. If it takes 4 hours, it takes 4 hours. If it takes half an hour, well, then it's only, a quarter of this cost.
Yep. Thank you.
From reading the different aspects of the request, I was surprised that we had estimated at 2 hours. I
Right.
would have thought it would have taken, 6 hours to 8 hours, like
So,
going back through 3 years of records for certain things and tracking down the training logs of the enforcement agent and finding similar cases. I mean, it's just things that take time to go dig through archives and records, right? So I didn't see a problem with the estimate. Again, I thought if anything, it was cheaper than I would have expected it to be in less hours, and I don't see why there would be relief granted on the cost of doing this. And we are taking village resources away from other duties to do this task, along with the other FOIA ones that we do, which is just, unfortunately, we are a small village with a small staff, and everyone already has a full-time job, right? So.
yes, Ms. Castamay.
One more question, Mr. George, on the timeliness piece, the responsiveness piece. If I'm reading the appeal email right, it seems maybe what it hinges on is that the response was after business hours on the last day. Ms. Kolb, is that relevant? I mean, does it have to be received by the end of business on that last day? I don't think the statute's specific.
No, it just says response
Okay,
has to be issued on the 5th day
okay.
after the request is received. And again, as President George commented on, if the request or the response had been mailed out,
Right.
certainly would not have been received on that 5th day.
Okay. Okay. And then on the point of the estimate, I don't disagree, Mr. Drummond, and I suspect maybe it will end up taking longer. It takes a long time to go through these, but I mean, I suspect the village administration does what they can to minimize the costs, and then once the records are found, I mean, these are emails, so they'll be transmitted electronically, right? So this is just a time estimate, right? There's not gonna be copy charges likely, right? I mean,
Well, some of the other things he requested, photographs, inspection
might be
logs,
paper.
field notes,
Okay.
reports, citations, those would all be in paper format,
Okay.
I would imagine.
okay.
Other questions?
If I may.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have any other questions, just want to share my thinking on this. We are all here to represent residents, and not just any one resident, but residents overall. And so when I'm looking at, I think these are all fair things to ask for. But when I look at requests of all residents, right? And if every single time a resident has an issue, they want all these things and we start to waive these fees, then the efficiency of our staff and how they serve the residents as a whole starts to be affected. And so I don't think, if it was a $5,000 fee, I would see that. But I'm looking at, $69 and I'm looking at what it cost, to get a fence permit. And I think that this is, within the realm of what a resident can usually expect coming in fee-wise for most anything in the village or an administrative task. I don't think that it is above the amount of time and effort of what's being asked for. So I don't feel that it is unfair as far as the fee goes, but I do have worry about waiving a fee like this, because if we do it now, then we have to do it. There's precedent then to do it moving forward, and then that becomes burdensome on the village as a whole. So, I think this is a fair fee, and I don't feel as though waiving it is advantageous to residents.
All right. Other questions, comments?
I have a couple of comments
Right.
in general on what's transpiring here. Not so much in the process of waiving the fees or the timeliness of the response, but of what's being asked. There are some things in the request that really isn't up to the administration to interpret. The code enforcement has gone out and enforced the code based on his understanding and applying that to this situation. If there is an issue with that, and the resident has an issue with that, the steps are to go to a zoning board of appeals to appeal that, right? No? I'm asking, that's a question.
Again, if it's.
Would they have recourse if they don't like, if they want an interpretation of our ordinance? Is that something that goes to the zoning board to interpret, or is that something that then goes to court to interpret?
Yeah.
That was my.
Is it?
This code
This-
is, yep, is in our
Yeah,
zoning
if this
ordinance.
falls under the zoning ordinance and a resident can request an interpretation.
Right. So some of the things in this request, we might not be able to do. Would that be responded to, or if ultimately this goes forward, right? Because they ask for ordinance interpretation. I don't know that that's.
There's probably not, or I don't want to assume, there may not be an existing public record of the village that is responsive, and that would be indicated in the written response back, granting or denying the request. Because the village is not required to create a new record in response to a FOIA request.
Right. Okay, so, and either if, and under each circumstance, if they were to be unsuccessful here tonight on their request for the fee waiver or the timeliness of the response, they could go to the Circuit Court of Appeals in Oakland County, same as they could if they do not like the interpretation, if they go that route of the ordinance through our zoning board of appeals.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
One more process question, and Mr. Rothy or maybe Ms. Brown, if in the course of, if the requester says, okay, fine, I'll pay the estimate, they pay the $70, and in the course of the staff searching the records, they get into it and they say, this is gonna take 8 hours. Does the requester get notified, hey, we are going to exceed our estimate, do you want us to move forward or not? I mean, what is our process around that?
It would be I don't know what the village currently does, but it would be my recommendation that definitely happen.
I don't think it's come up.
It hasn't come.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, if it does,
Well, if it does, let's notify our requesters that we are going, I mean, if it
Right.
goes to $75, maybe not, but I mean, if you end up
if
significantly
it's
increasing.
8 instead of
Yeah.
2, that seems like a
Right.
conversation.
Yeah, if
Or
I
4.
may. When a FOIA request comes in and it appears that it's gonna be a large one, there's some initial calculations of staff time, you know, how many records you might anticipate finding. And if it's over $50, you have to send a cost estimate and you may request a 50% deposit. Once you receive the deposit, then the village begins to accumulate the records. And as you do, track, again, time and cost to determine a final cost. The next step is to then send a final estimate to the requester, and they are required to pay that balance between the 50% deposit and the balance before any records are released to them. So there's two points
steps.
along the way when the requester will be contacted about cost.
Mr. O'Gorman.
So we have two questions in front of us, right? One is the cost and one is the delay,
Timeliness.
timeliness. So if I read this correctly, we show a date of the email, on the email. I don't know if this is the date that it was sent and time it was sent. So my understanding from the Freedom of Information Act is that it is when it's received. And by received, my understanding is that when the village actually opens it and sees it. Is that correct, or is it when it actually arrives in an inbox?
If it comes in electronically, the date of receipt is the next business day.
Okay, so the
So if
next
it was-
business day is the 14th.
Correct.
So then it would be the 20th is when it's required to be responded by, right?
Correct.
And my understanding of the reading is that the stop date or the response date is within the day, not specific to any hours. Even though standard business hours are generally on the receipt side, the response side can be all the way up to 11:59 p.m. of that day. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so the first point brought up, from my understanding, is not a concern from us being late, because we did respond within that 5-day period, sent on the 13th. 14th was the first day we had clock ticking. We responded by the 20th, before 11:59 p.m. So, okay, so we did meet the timing requirement. Now we're talking about the cost of this, and the cost is discretionary to the village based on the time necessary to
Respond.
do the work and make that response. So there was a request that, please alert me if it's above $50. I'm assuming that was part of the response, that it was going to be over $50?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, we
Okay.
sent the
So we
69-28 to
notified the person who put the FOIA request in that it would be over the $50 they request to be notified on.
Correct.
Can we assume at that point we're on pause until we get response from them that they're willing to pay that because they made that a contingency of the FOIA request?
Yes.
Okay, so did we hear back that going over $50 was okay, or did they just call that exorbitant without having a finalized value? Because you put an estimate at $69, which is $19 over the 50.
Well, that's
when the appeal
That's the
request
email
came
Yeah,
in.
that's
with
We
the
sent the
appeal
estimate and we
requesting
got the
the
appeal.
waiver.
Okay, so that's where we are, is we sent them an estimate of the 2 hours, could be over that, could be under that, but that's our estimate based on the level of request. Reading through the level of request, I'm again shocked it's 2 hours. I think Carissa must be incredibly efficient. But, so from that perspective, our estimate is $19 over the 50. We notified the person that it would be that. We're using reasonable, and I was looking through the rules on what we can actually incorporate. And there are several other cost structures we can put in there as well, right, that we've not. We're just looking at an hourly rate. And I think it's fair to say that our hourly rate is applicable to the people who can accomplish this task. So it's not anybody under the roof of this building, but people who actually have the means to do this efficiently. I would imagine if you went with the lowest cost employee, it would probably take them considerably longer because they're not as familiar with the systems and the access to this information. And some of this information, from what I understand, is not necessarily compiled into an easy, manageable digital format, such that we can search emails, we can do all that. So you're looking at probably page-written notes, things that are communicated via handwritten notes, things like that, which is that's why I'm surprised it would only take a couple hours unless you're that efficient behind the scenes. So from my perspective, the first concern is not something that is not applicable to us being late, right? We were on time. And the second concern for $19 estimate over the $50 requirement that we replied to is probably reasonable within the estimation of the village administration and doesn't include incremental fees that are plausible. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay, I think I understand the situation. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Any other questions?
Can I make a resolution?
Yes, please.
Anybody has a concern? And then
I think there's
vote
multiple.
as you want. Be it resolved that the Village Council of Beverly Hills move to deny Luke Walgas Freedom of Information Act appeal on the timeliness of the response and find that no cost estimate, and find the cost estimate was timely submitted to him. Be it further resolved that the Village Council deny Luke Walgas Freedom of Information fee appeal for reason that the charge for this labor was not excessive, and be it, and hereby move that the correspondence be sent to Mr. Walgas setting forth the council's decision on both of his appeals.
Support.
Support for Ms. Frajusco. Ms. Brown, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. O'Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Drummond?
Yes.
Mr. George?
Yes.
Ms. Rodusco?
Yes.
Ms. Kescommitty?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, thank you. Yes.
I just wanted to ask a follow-up question for our legal counsel. This appeal is purely about those two elements, not necessarily denying the FOIA request. We're still going to fulfill the request. And if the person who submitted it is willing to pay the fees that subsequently come out of that, then you know, the request is fulfilled, right? But this, by no means does this appeal mean we're putting it on hold or anything like that. We're just
Correct.
saying, hey,
We
now
have to grant the request.
you have to grant the request. I just wanted to confirm that to anybody listening, that this is not meaning we're declining a FOIA request. We're just declining an appeal that it was late and that the fee is exorbitant. So thank you for the clarification.
All right. All right, that is the end of the business agenda. We have public comments up next. Anyone in chamber or online who would like to make a public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to the manager's report. Mr. Rothie.
Yes, I'll start with just a plug for TextMyGov. So what this is going to look like is, you know, on all of our newsletters and throughout Village Hall, we'll have, you know, you can sign up, QR codes. We might be able to even do something when we send out water bills. I'm not sure yet. There'll be, when people go to our website, we'll have a code embedded on the website. So there'll be a nice sign up thing. What we're also going to do is all of our existing phone records from our utility billing system and our tax collection system, all of those numbers we're going to import in to the new system. So if we already have your number through a water bill, you should be getting a text from us that says, hey, please don't, you know, we basically have to give a courtesy. We're going to blast you with messages unless you unsubscribe from us. So that rollout should probably be early January, if not a little sooner, just holidays, I don't want to, but it's not a particularly long process to ramp out. So again, that's coming soon. And again, one of the things the software has is like when we have a water main break, we can actually, because it, you know, kind of stores where the phone numbers are located, like what the addresses are. We can draw a circle on a map and say, hey, you street, you're impacted by this water main, so we're not necessarily spamming everybody in the village with a water main break that might be, 2.5 miles from their house. So excited to roll that out. A few other updates in no particular order. Our recently adopted ordinances on our Municode website are now available. So once a year, Municode does the recodification process or a supplement process. From time to time, we adopt ordinances. They don't show up in the code immediately now. At least they all show up on the homepage of our code website that say, hey, these are the things that may have changed that you weren't aware of before. Village calendar, we are reviewing that. It should be available the week of December 15th. Looks great. Clerk Brown, thank you for all your work on that component. TAP grant, we had a project, I wouldn't quite call it a kickoff meeting, but it was kind of a kickoff meeting on November 24th that we're supposed to get a schedule from the contractor within the next few days. Definitely the main focus of the meeting was talking about the areas of the project to get started on immediately so we can, and especially if there's any sort of landscape restoration or plantings we need to do before MDOT's June 1st deadline, we'll make those. On the parks side of things, Senator Moss's office has given me some dates a few hours ago to schedule a meeting to sit down with the DNR and talk about our Spark grant process. So I'm excited that that has some fruition coming from it. Again, it's just a meeting, but I'm cautiously optimistic. So again, stay tuned for more. I think that meeting will take place before the next council meeting. Also, as far as park projects go, again, once we kind of have the playground and the cost and what our out-of-pocket share, if any, is going to be, at that point, then we can move forward. We've got some planned improvements in our budget this year with Beverly Green, Riverside Park improvements. We're working on the RFPs right now for that work to go out to bid, but again, can't really do work on those until I know what the fund balance of the parks fund is going to be once this playground thing's resolved. So again, lots of park stuff coming soon. Another thing with parks is that we're working on is the amending the plan with the inclusion of Wenbrook and maybe a few other components. So we might, reading the DNR's guidance, we might not actually have to do an amendment if, because I think the previous plan talks about having Wenbrook in it, or at least it was speculated that it might be acquired. And if it kind of fits the broad categories of what we want to do there, there's a chance we might not have to amend the plan in the short run. But if we do, we've got a timeline ready to go. We'll probably be doing that in early November or early January, having, again, a public hearing, review by the Parks Board, review by Village Council. Because if we do need to do an amendment, the amendment needs to be submitted to the DNR by February 1st of next year. So it'll be quick, but I do think, again, it's just an update, really just like throw on an appendix. Here's the new land we have. Here's some of our conceptual priorities. So again, we may have a lot more movement on there soon too. I'm hoping that the call with the DNR can be a 2-for-1 meeting where we figure out if that amendment is needed or not. But that's all I have this evening. I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Yes, sir.
For Wenbrook, if we do amend the parks plan, is that what it is? For the DNR piece of it? I'm confused. So we have a parks plan, a parks budget. Wenbrook was an addition to our parks
System.
When we say amend, what are we amending? The parks plan?
The parks plan, yes. It's 5-year recreation master plan that was adopted by council, I think, in late 2022.
Yep.
So we didn't own Wenbrook then. So when you go for grants and say, I want a grant for this, if it's not in the plan, it's not an eligible project. So we just have to make sure that we have what we need in the plan.
In our parks ecosystem.
Okay,
So it
and
is.
is that for the parks budget or is
No.
that for DNR?
That's for DNR, so that if we
Okay.
if we wanted to put in an application for a grant, it needs to be in the parks plan.
Okay, because I know this is before you were here, there's some scrutiny from the village that we voted on the millage for the parks, and Wenbrook was not included in that, so it'd be my preference that funds for Wenbrook be considered as update or something like that somehow, like amending the plan more officially, because people wouldn't have thought that money, I think for me, it's not, I don't know, be careful how I say this. For me, it is part of our parks infrastructure and therefore it falls underneath that. But at the time the vote was taken for the millage renewal for the parks or whatever, that wasn't part of it. So they may have thought, hey, this money goes towards Beverly Park, Beverly Green, things like that. So I would just, for DNR, if it's DNR funding, I'm fully aligned.
Yes.
But as we think about our parks budget and how we spend that, we should always be considering dollars from the parks budget that come from that as opposed to like general fund distributions to the park budget for that parcel of land. Just because it is an afterthought. For me, again, it's part of our park system now. Parks budget and millage should be spent that way, but I think we should always consider that because there's a population within the village that would consider that not how they had voted back in the day. So for that millage, it's just a point of concept, but for the DNR, I'm not concerned.
Yep. Yep. The plan, everything I just said had nothing to do with the use of the millage funds.
I thought that's what I heard. I just wanted to clarify that the distribution of funds would be purely for the DNR, because I know we proposed kind of going after additional money from the DNR for a development grant, which would be fantastic. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So I appreciate that.
Other questions? Yes.
One question, Mr. George. On the manager's report, there's an item on here about potential redesign of the website, meeting with the the web vendor, revise,
Yes.
is that right? Is that gonna include public safety?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
They need it more than we do.
Yeah, I was just
We
gonna say.
certainly need
Correct.
it.
I think I designed that website. I'm like,
In fourth grade?
no,
And
I
sophomore
would
year
have been in
undergrad?
college when I got into, I forget what platform that was.
Oh, maybe, I would have been in fourth grade.
Yeah, stop. Yeah, not
Thank you,
my
Mr.
Tandy.
Ruffey.
Any other questions?
I do have a couple of questions.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Mr. Ruffey, this Southfield, City Southfield resurfacing 13 Mile, do we not have any cost in that?
We do have a portion of the cost.
Yeah,
It's
portion.
in our current fiscal year
Oh.
budget.
And the thought is it'll be done in the fiscal year, right? That they're gonna do this. And, they're just taking the lead on the design or the
Engineering.
project, the bidding of it.
Yes.
I'm just wondering what the skin, or our skin.
Because is that a Southfield road? Do we split that one 50/50 with Act 51, or is it mostly theirs and they're just being good neighbors for the Southfield on,
Greenfield to Southfield.
or 13 Mile, I'm sorry. Yep, 13 Mile, yeah.
Yeah.
20%.
20%.
Yeah, we had a small portion of the
Yeah,
cost. I remember that.
okay.
It was
Yeah.
a couple $100,000. I
Yeah,
think.
like 300,000 something.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then.
Yeah, they're in the driver's seat on that one, and
Then I'm glad.
because they're putting in most of the cost, but they are including us in their design reviews. Excuse me.
That'll just make getting down 13 Mile Road that much better with 696 Center Construction. That's great.
So,
Southfield's project.
That's right. And when can we expect a presentation on the audit findings?
The first meeting in January.
First meeting in January.
Yep, first meeting in January.
And is this meeting being streamed at all? Is it going out? Because there are questions about it not being streamed.
I think something is wrong with the Zoom,
Okay, that's it. Okay,
but while it's working.
okay, great. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, and can we address number of inches of snow we need before we start removing snow? Because I think we have a policy on if we're going to. And so this snow was pretty close. I know that they came around and they salted the intersections like they always do, and they did that, and I thought a timely manner, but they didn't plow my street, and that's okay. I mean, I have sidewalks, but not everybody clears the sidewalk. So it's 4 inches, and the determination was made that according to Doppler radar, this was a little under 4 inches. We didn't plow every street.
Yeah, and we stuck a measuring stick around town
Yeah.
as well.
Okay. So we might want to, just address
Yeah, it's
that.
not a deviation from what we've done
No.
previously, but it does give us an opportunity to look at and review, and if we want to do this,
Okay.
operate in the same way going forward, so
Okay,
we'll definitely be talking about it.
great.
yeah, as long as, if we could put it on the website.
Yeah.
Just publicize it. And again, I don't know what's normal because I've got an N01, which is this community, but I mean, as long as we're doing what is standard, if we need to make changes, obviously there are budget implications to changes. If you're taking on more snowfalls because they're smaller, we just need to understand all that and make residents aware. Clearly
And I think we're plowing most secondary, or plowing, and also we're salting secondary roads. Like Beverly Road is getting plowed and salted on almost any snow. Like today, it probably got salted.
Yeah.
Right. And it got plowed on Pierce, and Beverly got plowed on Sunday? Sunday, yeah, Sunday.
Major roads got plowed and
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
yes.
Follow-up question then, Mr. George. Is there any differentiation for neighborhoods that have sidewalks versus those that don't?
All right. Other questions for Mr. Rothie?
One other comment real quick, so that should be about $2,100 to repair. We have ordered the repair work. Last week was Thanksgiving. This is the audio system I'm gesturing to
Yes.
for everybody watching at home. So hopefully this is our last meeting with this audio setup, and then we'll be back to our regular equipment running. But I think there was a power surge involved that did some damage. So as of now, this is an intermediate solution. It's not perfect, but again, we got the quote last Wednesday, day before Thanksgiving, so nobody was able to come out to repair it, and hopefully they will very soon.
All right. Any other questions? All right, council comments. Mr. Mercer.
So I have one question. Mr. Ryan, you'll be here for another meeting still, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm not wishing you good luck, farewell, or anything like that.
Okay.
Okay. I would just, only comment I have is Giving Tuesday. I don't know how big the audience is, but if you're listening and are so inclined and have the ability, give something to your favorite charity on today. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. O'Gorman?
I'd like to thank Public Safety for all the extra work they're doing. I think it's fantastic, going kind of above and beyond their standard roles. Some notes came out and some things that they did with collecting with Mr. Bood previously. It's been noticed by the public, which I think is great. I think that will increase the benefit of the relationship. I would like to say to Mr. Walgast, I appreciate his diligence for seeking transparency, being, from my experience, professional about it, and his appearance tonight. I think we've met the lay of the law, and therefore we're still trying to facilitate his request, which I think is beneficial. And then just want to thank the administration and hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving.
All right, thank you. Ms. Cascametti.
I appreciate both comments from Mr. Mercer and Mr. O'Gorman, but I don't have anything else to add. Thanks, guys.
All right. Ms. Rajewsko.
I just want to encourage everyone to take a drive by the park and make a thank you to Lindsay King for offering to have the lights put up for us this year. They look beautiful, and we had a nice little park lighting ceremony tonight, which was well attended. So, just a nice something different, another event for the public to enjoy. So thank you for that. And that is all I have for this evening.
All right, Mr. Drummond.
No comments. Thank you.
All right. Groves football, I've been talking about them all season. They ran into a buzzsaw in the semifinals, so they made it at the same spot they did last year. Good season by them. Final Four is good. Getting the championship done is tough. So good season by them. Lighting looked great tonight at the park. It was good to see a bunch of the community show up for that. Had hot chocolate, had a fire. So that was good. Cookies. Can we get a reminder on the timing of the completion of the toy drive and the coat drive? So we've got Sheriff Bouchard's coat drive. I saw a box in the office. How long are we collecting?
That ended yesterday.
Okay. So the box
and
is in
toy
the
drive
office. Yeah.
Ends on the 12th.
Okay.
You bring your toys here.
Okay. So
Yeah,
we need
not
there is a friendly competition between public
Safety's not
safety.
here to stick
Yeah,
up
I
for
know.
themselves, so, hey.
Friendly competition between public safety and the village office. So either we'll take your donations. Ms. Brown is in person to ask for them here versus next door. So she's got that leg up. But they're both collecting well, looking for new unwrapped toys so we can make some holidays brighter for some of the kids who might need that. Muni code, that is awesome news. I love seeing that just is updating like it's supposed to. So we're getting updates to our code online to keep it more current with state and federal law changes and make it easier for our residents to find. Mr. Othie, what's the timing on public safety staffing additions? I know we had offers out.
Next few weeks, we will, I don't know exact timeline.
Yeah.
I think we'll have 2 this month, 2 very early January, and I don't remember when the
That's
last
awesome.
one is. But
So
within 60 days, we should have all 5.
that will put us at almost full staff, probably the most staff we've been since I've been involved, which is outstanding.
And we're interviewing for our last vacancy next week, but
It's lovely.
no spoilers.
So we'll knock on wood and hope that continues, but I'm excited for the work they've been doing, being visible, and have done, I think, a great job responding and trying to provide some information for the community on some issues. So I appreciate that. On the FOIA matter, I appreciate, again, as Mr. O'Gorman said, Mr. Wolgass, interest in coming before council, raising the issue. If we've got 60 or 72 of those a year we're dealing with, I think the fee requirement as specified by the state is not unreasonable from a standpoint of making sure that people really are interested in the information they need, rather than if we're saying we're going to waive it for everybody, then I don't know what that number turns into, but we could keep someone busy full-time if we're not going to charge for it. So I think it's a fair system as the law currently prescribes it. So I appreciate the conversation around that. And then lastly, thank you. We've got staff sitting here tonight, a couple of them, and we've had, I know, a lot of activity in the community and a lot of hard work going on by the staff. So I appreciate that. Bringing solutions, finding $5,000 plow trucks is something I didn't assume was possible, but that solves a problem. And I mean, that right there, that one, almost pays for the other one with what we're not paying in $11,000 a month rental. So I'm excited to see the trucks out there and doing the work. I saw a face in a truck that I didn't recognize, and I know that's because we recently took on some new staff, and I'm happy that's in-house and excited to see the changes. And sorry that we don't have a bigger lot for you to fill up, Neil, because we're going to run out of room at some point. So, well, yeah, it's too many toys. All right.
Mr. Miller,
Yes, sir.
Could I just make one comment?
Yes.
And I know we didn't, not an oversight on all of us, but we should welcome our newest.
Oh, for sure.
Our newest
Yeah.
council.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, because I was thinking of it as.
Yeah, Mrs. Cull, very happy that you're here. I think us not saying anything is we just take it for granted.
Yeah.
And we didn't mean to do that, but I just want to say, I'm
No.
sure everybody else, thank you, and we're happy to see you here.
I'm going to claim ignorance. I was not at the last meeting, so I just assumed you were, sitting right there. And I know that's when we approved the contract, so. Yes.
I'm happy to be here. Happy to answer any questions at any time you might have.
And I know before you got to the table, you and Mr. Ryan and Mr. Rothy were off, sitting down, trying to consolidate the issues that are on the slate. So I appreciate Mr. Ryan getting you up to speed. I know he's, even if he's not at this desk, he's not going anywhere because he's still working working next door.
Yep.
All right. With that being said, I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.